More backlash today for Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis after their video explaining why they wrote letters of support for convicted rapist Danny Masterson.
Mila was here a few months ago and talked about the first time that Ashton said he loved her, and I think it's incredible.
It happened to me, and it happened to my mother. So my dad told my mom he was in love with her 3 months into their relationship, schmammered.
A shocking video of Ashton Kutcher's ex-girlfriend has surfaced, and it's sending ripples through Hollywood. This isn't just another celebrity story. It's a revelation that could change everything we know about the actor and his past. What if the charming image of Ashton Kutcher you've always known is hiding something far more sinister? Could this revelation change our perception of the beloved actor forever? Join us as we reveal the unsettling truths sending shockwaves through Hollywood.
That 70s show co-star and his family, and how the allegations will affect them. Ashton says someday his kid is going to read about this.
The girlfriend behind the controversy and the timeline of the story. In the glitzy world of Hollywood, where stars often shine bright, some stories cast long, dark shadows. One such tale involves actor Ashton Kutcher and a chilling event from his past that has resurfaced, gripping the public's attention. In 2001, Ashton Kutcher was a rising star known for his role in That 70s Show. He was casually dating 22-year-old fashion student Ashley Ellerin. On the night of February 21st, they planned to attend a post-Grammys party together, but the evening took a tragic turn. Running late, Kutcher arrived at Ellerin's Hollywood home around 10:45 p.m. He knocked on the door, but received no response. Peering through a window, he noticed what he thought were red wine stains on the carpet. Assuming she had gone out without him, he left. The following day, Ellerin's roommate discovered her lifeless body. She had been brutally murdered and stabbed 47 times.
Prosecutors say the defendant, Michael Gargiulo, butchered a young woman, Kutcher's friend, 22-year-old Ashley Ellerin. She was stabbed 47 times.
The investigation revealed that Michael Gargiulo, later dubbed the Hollywood Ripper, was responsible for Ellerin's death and several other attacks. He had befriended her under the guise of a helpful neighbor, even offering to fix her furnace. But his true motives were far more sinister, and they led to the horrific events of that February night. Gargiulo was eventually convicted and sentenced to death. We're sure that by now, you must be itching to find out the rest of the story. The good thing is, we're also eager to reveal them to you. So sit tight as the story unfolds. Who was she? The girlfriend behind the controversy. In the early 2000s, Los Angeles was a magnet for dreamers, and among them was Ashley Ellerin, a vibrant young woman whose life was tragically cut short. Her story intertwines with Hollywood's glitz and a chilling darkness that few could have anticipated. Ashley Ellerin was born in Los Altos, California, on July 16, 1979. From a young age, she exhibited a keen interest in fashion. This passion led her to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles. Friends described her as energetic and sociable, with a zest for life, making her a beloved figure among her peers. Settling into the vibrant culture of Los Angeles, Ashley embraced the city's dynamic social scene. She attended high-profile events and mingled with individuals from the entertainment industry. Her charisma and beauty did not go unnoticed, and she formed connections with several notable figures, including actors Vin Diesel and Ashton Kutcher. Their connection was immediate. By February 2001, they had begun dating casually. Their relationship, though brief, was marked by mutual affection and shared interests. But recently, a video has surfaced, casting a disturbing light on actor Ashton Kutcher's past, particularly concerning the tragic fate of his former girlfriend, Ashley Ellerin. This footage has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and beyond, prompting many to question what they knew about the beloved actor. The video in question gets right into the harrowing events of the night that forever altered Kutcher's life. Ashton Kutcher testified about the events of that night. He recounted his visit to Ashley's home and observations, which he initially dismissed as insignificant.
The friends of Ashley Ellerin describe him as like the creepy guy who was always just kind of hanging around.
His testimony provided crucial context to the timeline of events leading up to her murder. In case you've forgotten, We said Kutcher was scheduled to take Ashley Ellerin to a post-Grammy party that evening before the tragic incident occurred. While this narrative has been public knowledge for years, the resurfaced video scrutinizes Kutcher's actions that night with a newfound intensity. It raises unsettling questions like, why didn't he contact the authorities upon noticing the stains? These inquiries cast a shadow over the actor's perceived innocence, suggesting a potential negligence that had previously gone unquestioned. Undoubtedly, the video's emergence has reignited public interest in the case, leading to widespread discussions across social media platforms. Many are expressing outrage, not only at the tragic loss of a young life, but also at the perceived oversight in Kutcher's actions. The actor, who has long been a beloved figure in Hollywood, now finds himself at the center of a controversy that challenges his public persona. This revelation comes when Hollywood is intensely scrutinized for past actions and associations. Kutcher's recent involvement in writing a character letter for his former That 70s Show co-star, Danny Masterson, who was convicted of has already placed him in a precarious position. The resurfacing of the Ashley Ellerin case adds another layer of complexity, prompting discussions about accountability and the responsibilities of public figures. But you may wonder how Ashton has responded to all of these and the resurfacing of the tragic video. What do you think? Ashton Kutcher's response. As of now, Ashton Kutcher has not publicly addressed the resurfaced video or the renewed discussions surrounding Ellerin's murder. This silence has led to widespread speculation. Some believe Kutcher's lack of response is a deliberate choice to avoid reigniting painful memories or giving undue attention to the controversy. Others interpret his silence as evasive, suggesting that he may be avoiding difficult questions about his actions on the night of Ellerin's death. Don't forget that in his 2019 court testimony during the trial of Michael Gargiulo, the man convicted of Ellerin's murder, Kutcher recounted arriving at Ellerin's home to pick her up for a date.
Ashton Kutcher taking the stand, testifying against a man accused of being a Hollywood serial killer. Kutcher saying he went to the home of one of the victims just moments after prosecutors say she was killed.
He knocked on the door but received no answer. Looking through a window, he noticed what he thought were red wine stains on the floor, assumed she had already left, and departed. The next day, he learned that those stains were actually blood from Ellerin's brutal murder. Kutcher expressed deep remorse during his testimony, stating he was freaking out upon realizing the gravity of the situation, but the resurfacing of the video has led to a flurry of activity online. Social media platforms are filled with debates as users dissect Kutcher's past actions and current silence. Some fans defend the actor, emphasizing that he was a young man caught in an unimaginable situation, and that his court testimony proves his genuine remorse. They argue that his decision not to comment now is understandable, given the traumatic nature of the events. Conversely, critics question why Kutcher didn't take more decisive action upon noticing the stains through the window. They argue that a simple call to the authorities might have changed the outcome. This perspective has led to heated discussions about responsibility and the expectations placed on individuals in such situations. Adding fuel to the fire, Chrissy Carnell Bixler, one of the accusers in the Danny Masterson posted a cryptic message directed at Kutcher. She insinuated that she knew about that night's events, stating, "I know the secrets your role model keeps for you, ones that would end you." This statement has intensified the online discourse, with many speculating about the implications of her words. The online community's reactions are as varied as they are intense. Some users empathize with Kutcher, acknowledging the difficulty of reliving such a traumatic event under public scrutiny. They show his willingness to testify in court, indicating his desire to seek justice for Ellerin. Others, however, are less forgiving. They demand a public statement from Kutcher, arguing that his silence is a disservice to Ellerin's memory and to his fans who seek clarity. This was especially because Kutcher recounted noticing what appeared to be a red wine stain on the carpet through the window, not realizing it was Ellerin's blood. The debate has spilled over into discussions about celebrity culture, the court of public opinion, and the responsibilities of public figures when confronted with their past actions. But what if we tell you this is not the first time the actor has been in the news for controversial reasons? Ashton Kutcher, widely recognized for his roles in popular TV shows and movies, has faced controversies throughout his career. These incidents have not only attracted media attention, but have also sparked significant public debate. Ashton Kutcher's controversies. Ashton Kutcher has maintained a close relationship with Sean Diddy Combs since the early 2000s. Their friendship has come under scrutiny following allegations against Combs.
Diddy party stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote if you have one, yeah.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell.
Kutcher's close relationship has led to questions about what Kutcher might have known regarding Combs' alleged activities. Plus, Kutcher faced backlash for writing a character letter in support of his former co-star Danny Masterson. This action led to public outrage, with many questioning Kutcher's judgment and his stance on issues of But that's not all, because beyond acting, Kutcher has made significant strides as a tech investor. One of his notable investments was in the ride-sharing company Uber. While this investment proved financially lucrative, Uber faced significant controversies in 2017. A former employee's blog post detailed a workplace culture rife with gender discrimination. The revelations led to widespread criticism of the company's internal practices. Although Kutcher was not directly implicated in these issues, his association with Uber during this tumultuous period brought him under scrutiny, with some questioning the ethical implications of his investment choices. What's more, a recent controversy that involved Ashton happened in 2023. The entertainment world was rocked when Danny Masterson, known for his role in That 70s Show, the courtroom drama took an unexpected turn when it was revealed that Masterson's former co-stars, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, had penned character letters advocating leniency in sentencing. Ashton and Mila, who shared the screen with Masterson on the beloved sitcom, described him in their letters as a positive influence and a person of integrity. Their intent, as they later explained, was not to undermine the victims' experiences, but to share their personal insights with a longtime friend. But the public perceived these letters differently. Many felt that by supporting Masterson, especially after his conviction, the couple implicitly questioned the validity of the victims' testimonies and the justice of the court's decision.
Kutcher told the court this was supposed to be their first date. He said he stopped off at a friend's house to watch the Grammys.
The backlash was swift and intense, with fans and critics expressing profound disappointment. In response to the mounting criticism, Ashton and Mila took to social media to address the controversy. In a video statement, they clarified that the letters were not intended to discredit the victims, but to portray the Danny they had known for decades. They emphasized their support for victims of and expressed regret for any pain their actions may have caused, but despite their apology, the damage was done. The incident opened a broader conversation about the responsibilities of celebrities when their personal relationships conflict with public expectations. And as expected, the public's response was a mix of shock, betrayal, and anger. Many fans felt let down by Ashton and Mila, actors they had admired for years. Social media platforms were flooded with comments condemning their support for Masterson. Some called for boycotts of their projects, while others urged them to take more substantial actions to make amends. And now, with the revisiting of his ex-girlfriend's tragic death, we can only imagine what's in for Kutcher's career after all of these. You would agree that public perception is crucial to an actor's career trajectory. The negative attention surrounding Kutcher could result in lost roles, endorsements, and partnerships. Studios and brands may distance themselves to avoid potential backlash, leading to a decline in their marketability. So for Kutcher, addressing these controversies head-on may be the most effective strategy. Public acknowledgement of any missteps, coupled with genuine efforts to make amends, can help rebuild trust. Engaging in open dialogues about the issues and demonstrating a commitment to positive change can resonate with audiences. But will he be willing to go that far? That brings us to the end of the video. They hoped this would help them get away without being followed. Despite their efforts, the paparazzi found out about their plan and followed them as soon as they left. Diana and Dodie got into a black Mercedes-Benz car. The driver of the car was a man named Henry Paul. Henry Paul worked at the Ritz Hotel, and he was the one driving them that night. There was also a bodyguard in the car with them named Trevor Reese Jones. Henry Paul was driving the car because they wanted to leave quickly and escape from the photographers. The group hoped to reach Doty's apartment, which was not far from the hotel. They thought that if they could get there fast, they could avoid the paparazzi and have some peace. But the photographers did not give up. They followed the car on motorcycles and in other cars, determined to get pictures of Princess Diana and Dodi Fayed. As the car sped through the streets of Paris, Henry Paul tried to lose the photographers by driving faster and taking different routes. The situation became dangerous as the car was moving very quickly through the city. They eventually entered a tunnel called the Pont de l'Alma Tunnel. This is where things took a turn for the worst. In the tunnel, Henry Paul lost control of the car. The car crashed into a pillar inside the tunnel at high speed. The impact of the crash was devastating. The front of the car was crushed, and the people inside were seriously hurt. When emergency services arrived, they tried to help everyone involved.
2 phone calls came early on and told me that there had been an accident, and clearly I needed to get to the hospital quickly.
Sadly, Dodi Fayed and Henry Paul were pronounced dead at the scene. Princess Diana was still alive but in critical condition. She was rushed to a nearby hospital where doctors did everything they could to save her. Despite their efforts, Princess Diana died a few hours later from her injuries. The only person who survived the crash was the bodyguard, Trevor Reese Jones, though he was badly hurt as well. The news of Princess Diana's death spread quickly, and people all over the world were shocked and heartbroken.
The Diana, Princess of Wales, has been killed in a car accident, and that her partner, Dodi Fayed, has also been killed. They were apparently being pursued by paparazzi on 2 motorcycles.
Many could not believe that someone as beloved as Diana could be gone so suddenly. Diana was laid to rest at her family's estate, Althorpe, in Northamptonshire, England. Her grave is located on a small island in the middle of a lake. Her family wanted this place to be a peaceful resting place, away from the public eye. Even though Diana was no longer with them, her legacy lived on. Her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, have continued her charitable work in many ways, carrying on the causes that were important to their mother. Princess Diana's death was a tragic and sudden event that changed many lives. It showed the dangers of the intense media attention that surrounded her life, as well as the impact she had on so many people. Even today, many years later, people still remember Princess Diana with love and respect. Since her death, there have been tons of rumors of what really happened in that tunnel, but none of these rumors were confirmed. This meant that nobody knew what exactly happened that fateful night. Well, that is until recently when Diana's butler himself, Paul Burrell, came out with some truths about the princess's private life. But what exactly did Paul have to say? Let's find out. Conspiracy theories about Diana's death and Paul's shocking revelations. After Princess Diana died, at first, the crash was seen as a tragic accident caused by the driver, who had been drinking, and the paparazzi who were chasing the car. But over time, some people began to believe that there might be more to the story. They wondered if the crash had been planned on purpose, and some even thought that people in powerful positions, possibly connected to the royal family, might have been involved. One of the reasons that these conspiracy theories started was because of a letter that was written by Princess Diana herself. This letter, which became very famous later on, was written by Diana in 1995, about 2 years before her death.
The bombshell letter is said to have been written by Princess Diana herself just 2 years before her tragic death.
Diana alleged that her husband, Prince Charles, was planning to stage a car crash.
In the letter, Diana expressed her fears that something bad might happen to her. She wrote that she believed that there were people who wanted to get rid of her, and she even mentioned that she thought they might try to cause her to have a car accident. When this letter became public, many people were very shocked. They began to wonder if Diana's death had been more than just an accident. Despite these rumors, the official investigations into Diana's death concluded that the crash was just a tragic accident. The first investigation was conducted by the French authorities. They looked into what happened that night and found that the driver of the car, Henry Paul, had been drinking alcohol and was driving too fast. They also noted that the paparazzi were chasing the car, which put pressure on Henry Paul to drive even faster. The French investigation concluded that these factors led to the crash and that it was not planned. But the conspiracy theories did not go away. In fact, they seemed to grow stronger over time. Many people were not satisfied with the explanation that the crash was an accident. They continued to believe that there might have been more to the story. In response to these concerns, another investigation was launched in the United Kingdom. This investigation was called Operation Paget. It was led by the British police, and it looked into all the different conspiracy theories that had been circulating since Diana's death. Operation Paget began in 2004, about 7 years after the crash.
The probe was launched by the British Metropolitan Police in 2004 as part of the investigation into the various conspiracy theories surrounding Diana's death in 1997.
The investigation was very thorough and took several years to complete. The goal of Operation Paget was to determine whether there was any truth to the conspiracy theories, or if the crash had truly been an accident. As part of the investigation, the police looked at all the evidence, including Diana's letter, the events leading up to the crash, and the actions of everyone involved. In 2006, the findings of Operation Paget were released. The investigation concluded that there was no evidence to support the conspiracy theories. Like the French investigation, Operation Paget found that the crash was caused by the driver, Henry Paul, who had been drinking and was driving too fast. The report also mentioned the role of the paparazzi, who were chasing the car and making the situation even more dangerous. Operation Paget did not find any evidence of a plan to murder Princess Diana, and it stated that the crash was a tragic accident. Despite the conclusions of Operation Paget, some people continued to believe in the conspiracy theories. They pointed to Diana's letter as evidence that she knew something bad was going to happen to her. They also raised questions about other aspects of the crash, such as the actions of the French authorities and the response of the emergency services. For example, some people wondered why it took so long for Diana to be taken to the hospital after the crash. Others questioned the role of the British intelligence services and whether they might have been involved in some way. That's where Diana's butler, Paul Burrell, came in. Princess Diana's life was always in the spotlight, but there were many things about her that the public didn't know. After her tragic death in 1997, more details about her private life started to come out. One of the people who shared many of these details was her former butler, Paul Burrell. He worked for Diana for many years and was very close to her. His revelations about her private life surprised many people and gave a deeper understanding of who Diana was behind the scenes. These stories also showed the challenges she faced and the kind of person she was when she was not in front of the cameras. Paul Burrell began working for the royal family in the 1980s. At first, he worked for Queen Elizabeth II, but later, in 1987, he started working for Princess Diana. He became one of her closest and most trusted staff members. Diana once called him her rock, which showed how much she relied on him. Paul saw many of the private moments in Diana's life, and he was there for her during some of her most difficult times. He was by her side as she navigated her marriage, her role as a mother, and her very public life. One of the key revelations Paul made about Diana's private life was about how lonely she often felt. Even though Diana was one of the most famous women in the world, she sometimes felt isolated and alone. Paul talked about how Diana would often confide in him about her feelings of sadness and loneliness. She felt that she couldn't always trust the people around her, and this made her life very difficult. He also revealed that this loneliness somehow managed to make her develop an eating disorder called bulimia. Diana's struggles were not just about her personal relationships, but also about the pressures of living such a public life. Things don't end there. Another major aspect of Diana's private life that Paul Burrell revealed was her struggle with her marriage to Prince Charles. Diana and Charles got married in 1981, and their wedding was watched by millions of people around the world.
It's 34 years now since a young woman called Diana Spencer married her prince. It was a day of memorable images, of a young couple emerging as man and wife from St. Paul's Cathedral.
However, behind the scenes, their marriage was not as perfect as it seemed. Paul shared details about how difficult things were for Diana in her marriage. She knew that Prince Charles had a close relationship with another woman, Camilla Parker Bowles, and this caused her a lot of pain. Diana once famously said in an interview that there were 3 of us in this marriage, referring to Charles, Camilla, and herself. Paul's revelations gave even more insight into how deeply this situation affected Diana. Diana's battle with mental health issues was another part of her private life that Paul spoke about. Diana struggled with bulimia, a serious eating disorder, for many years. This was something that she had to deal with in secret, even while carrying out her royal duties and maintaining her public image. Paul shared how Diana would sometimes use food as a way to cope with the stress and pressure of her life. She also had periods of deep sadness, and at times, she felt overwhelmed by everything that was happening around her. Paul's stories highlighted the emotional difficulties Diana faced, even though she always tried to put on a brave face for the public. Despite these struggles, Paul also talked about how much Diana cared about other people. She had a deep sense of compassion and empathy, and she was always looking for ways to help those who were less fortunate. Paul shared stories about how Diana would go out of her way to visit people who were sick or in need. She often did these things without any cameras or publicity because she genuinely wanted to make a difference. One of the most famous examples of this was when Diana visited patients with HIV and AIDS during a time when there was a lot of fear and stigma surrounding the disease. Paul revealed that these visits were not just for show. Diana truly cared about the people she was helping, and she wanted to show them that they were not alone. Apart from her compassion, Paul also spoke about Diana's strength and determination. Even though she faced many challenges, she was always determined to stand up for herself and for what she believed in. Paul shared how Diana worked hard to create her own path, especially after her separation from Prince Charles. She wanted to be her own person and to have her own voice, even within the constraints of the royal family. This was not always easy, but Diana was determined to make a difference in the world. Paul admired this quality in her, and he often spoke about how strong she was, even when things were very tough.
She was so iconic and so incredible and such a beautiful spirit. I still look towards that, even today.
Diana's role as a mother was another important part of her private life that Paul shared. Diana had 2 sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, and she was very dedicated to them. Paul talked about how much Diana loved her sons and how she always tried to protect them from the pressures of royal life. She wanted them to have as normal a childhood as possible, despite the fact that they were growing up in the public eye. Diana took her role as a mother very seriously, and Paul shared many stories about the lengths she would go to in order to spend time with her boys and make sure they were happy. One of the most touching stories Paul shared was about how Diana would sneak out of the palace to spend time with her sons. Even though she had a very busy schedule and was constantly in the public eye, Diana always made time for William and Harry. Paul would help her plan secret trips so that she could take them out for a day without being followed by the press. These moments were very special to Diana, and they showed how much she valued her role as a mother above everything else. After Diana's death in 1997, Paul Burrell wrote a book called A Royal Duty, in which he shared many of these stories about her private life. The book caused a lot of controversy when it was released in 2003. Some people felt that Paul should not have shared such personal details about Diana, while others appreciated the insight it provided into who she really was. Paul defended his decision to write the book by saying that he wanted people to know the truth about Diana's life and the challenges she faced. He believed that by sharing these stories, he was honoring her memory and helping people understand the real person behind the public image. In the book, Paul also shared details about the time after Diana's death. He talked about how difficult it was for him to cope with the loss of someone he had been so close to. He also shared how he felt that he had a responsibility to protect Diana's memory and ensure that the truth about her life was not forgotten. Paul's revelations gave the world a deeper understanding of the woman who was often called the People's Princess. His stories showed that even though Diana was a global icon, she was also a human being who faced many of the same struggles as everyone else. Paul's decision to speak out about Diana's private life also showed the complicated relationship between the royal family and the people who worked for them. Leave your opinions in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it. What do you think about the resurfaced video of Kutcher's ex-girlfriend's death? Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click on the following video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.